It is this time, and we welcome Jump in My Car, Ted Mulry. Hi, Ted.
KerriAnne, how you doing?
I said the 30 years. Can you believe it?
I stutter a bit too now and again.
Oh.
And I said this song was done back in the 1970s. Whatever.
Well, you're still having a good time.
Still enjoying it, yes. Oh, yes. Loving it.
How many gold, how many platinum was it?
I think there's about 8 gold, a couple of platinum. So around that somewhere. I don't have them. I gave them all to my folks, so I can't go around and actually count them. So I only see them when I visit my folks.
Oh. Well, but I mean, it's extraordinary. What success. In fact, it's hit such a chord here today. We've got people who used to go to Ballarat. Where was it, Steve? Ballarat? Yeah, and somebody at the back of the Horden Pavilion doing all your stuff.
And I've had Jeff offering me pizza. Great. That's real good. Good in here, isn't it?
Now, the new album, this time, feel of it?
I guess it's down the adult contemporary line. It's a laid-back album. There's a couple of kick tracks on it, only 2. Most of it is like this one that's playing. It's pretty well laid back. Ballads, melodies, that sort of thing.
Now, when you go out and work these days, what are people saying to you? Do they like to hear Doug Mulry do new stuff, or
Doug
they
or
say,
Ted?
Oh, Doug. Sorry, Doug Mulry is a DJ in Sydney.
A new one.
And/or he's close.
Doug
Actually, have you done Doug's show up there? Tugger. We'll call you Tugger. How do you like that?
Plugger and Tugger.
Oh, you kick 1300 as well.
We'll leave that one, eh?
So, as I was saying, Ted...
Yes, I have been on with Doug, yeah.
Yeah.
And done the live thing in the studio with him, yeah.
That's great fun.
That is a lot of fun. That's real good.
Did he get you to do Jump in My Car?
Well, Jump My Car is probably the hardest in that it's got a questions and answer line. So if I could actually hold my breath for about 4 minutes, I could do it. But because you've got the girls' part coming in over the guys' part, it's a bit hard to do.
Oh, and look at this.
Oh, what?
Oh, how do you feel?
Oh, 18 again. 8 again. I think I was 8 and 9 when we did this one.
Well, tell me about that song, Jump in My Car. Was it intended to be the mega hit it was?
It was actually meant to be a filler on an album. It was the song I thought people might play at a party. It was just, you know, a happy sort of fun type song. Never meant to be a single. And it was Barry Chapman in Newcastle on 2NX that actually rang us up and said, look, I'm getting so many requests. I just played this one night off the album. He said, I think it should be a single. And we said, oh, well, okay, we'll try it. And never had a thought that it could do what it did. I mean, I thought of changing my name because people see me in the street and go, jump in my car. What was your name again? You know? So, yeah, it did great things to say it wasn't meant to.
You had some interesting career moves before being a pop star. At what, 18?
18, yeah.
Yeah. What were you before? Just before that?
I drove road roller, on the DMR basically. I've done a bit of labouring and worked on the railways. So I've done a bit of everything. This is the longest job I've ever had. Before that, I was in jobs about a year or something. I'd move on somewhere else. So I guess it worked.
Being a pop star at 18, how did you adjust?
Yeah, it's a bit tough, I guess. Having it all happen, like my first single, which was Julia, went massive. It was a big hit. My next one, Falling in Love Again, was #1. So it is a bit of a shock to the system. To say that when Julia came out, I still had my job. So I'd be going to work in the mornings and the guys would be saying, I heard your record coming to work this morning on the radio. So it was a bit strange.
There was a wonderful quote. Let me give this to you. This was, what, 1970, out of Sydney's Daily Mirror. You quote said, when the chicks started happening, it's so strange you think, why me?
Oh, who said that? That wasn't me.
No, more importantly, are the chicks still happening?
Oh, yeah. The same ones. They're all 65 now, but it doesn't matter. It's all right.
So the difference, it really, when you look back and you think, where was my mind at 18, 20, you know...
I had to think playing pool and playing darts and boozing on in a pub with the mates, I guess, what everybody did at that age. Which is very uncool to do now, isn't it? It's like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. But, yeah, I guess just sort of hanging out with the guys and what car do I want next, you know, something with wide wheels on it. The usual.
And during the 80s, you went back to having a proper job for a minute. What did you run, an auto transmission company?
I started a business in 87, I think it was, with my old motor mechanic mate who wanted to start a new workshop and wanted a partner, not to actually climb under the cars and whatever, but to basically run the business and do the paperwork and all that. So that was a bit different, having to deal with banks and leases and all that sort of thing. But,
so when you go to the bank and try and get money, did they say, jump in my car?
Sign this first. to Alison with love. And go, all right, okay.
Did it help getting all those bank loans?
Yes, exactly. Still works. So it was a change for a while, running a business. And then I sold that about 1990, and we were actually touring the week after. I'd just sold it in time, and we were on tour the next week.
But do you find people do want the good old stuff that they loved and adored?
Oh, of course. If we don't do Darktown, Jump My Car, Crazy, Jamaica, if we don't do them, I mean, we'd get lynched. And it's not a case of, oh, God, we have to do them again. I mean, we do enjoy doing them because we get a giggle out of them as well. But it's
Where did you
something
first hear Darktown, Strutters?
When did we first do it?
No, when did you first hear it? What gave you the idea to do it? Nice flares.
It was actually, that was denim and leather. It was actually Herm, our drummer, said, look, we've tried this and we've done that and that. Why don't you try writing something that's a bit reggae? I thought, reggae, okay. So Jamaica Rum came up. It was a little bit of a reggae-ish type feel, island feel, whatever. So it was basically our drummer saying, why don't you give it a shot? So that was it.
Now, there was another song which wasn't at the Tasmanian and the Victorian Police, a whole bunch of them, who got a little offended at which you can't actually even repeat some 20-odd years later.
Exactly.
That word in the song.
Yeah.
So what was the story? I mean, the most momentous occasion of getting caught up?
We were touring, and because the cops had heard that we were doing this song, oh, well, certain towns had. We were barred from, like, Tamworth, Inverell, all places through New South Wales and Victoria.
This is before it was fashionable. It was Tommy Lee.
Exactly. We're ahead of our time.
Yes.
So it was a case of finally these towns have gotten, basically they didn't want us playing to their kids. So it was like these guys are too rude, too naughty on stage. So finally we'd done the New South Wales tour. We came into Victoria, and in Portland, the cops were side stage listening to it all, and I didn't actually say anything through this song. It's an audience participation thing, so the audience all shouted out the horror words, and we're just standing back, just basically leading them on, I guess. And so I was immediately arrested, and at that point, when I went to court, won the case. Had we lost the case, it would have meant that we couldn't do the song again, which was Dinah. But having won the case, then they just had to leave us alone. We could play it wherever we wanted. But the nice thing was the first album, which Jump in My Car was on, Here We Are, took, I think it was a year and a half, close to 2 years or something, to go gold. And because I'd got arrested, the cops actually did us a big favor, because in that week, it went double gold. Once I'd been arrested and all the channels were out there at the court to catch me as I came out of court, did a big favor, so it went gold immediately.
Get arrested over this again?
I'm trying. I'm trying to, but I've taken my clothes off now, people don't look. They just sort of turn, oh God, what's that? So it doesn't work the same anymore.
Listen, congratulations. It's back on the road?
Back on the road touring, yeah, and loving it.
Not as hard as it was?
It was never easy. Work up a good sweat, so it's just really enjoyable. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's so terrific to catch up with you again, Ted. And you have to go back and see Doug in Sydney. And you sang live in the studio with him? What, do you just take your guitar in? And
yeah, I took a guitar in. I went in to do, the very first time I went in, I went in to do, I forget what song it was. I think I did Falling in Love Again. So he said, my favourite song was like Julia. So next time I went in, he said, can you do Julia? I said, yeah. So I did Julia, and then he said, do you want to do another while you're here? And I said, all right. So I did Darktown. So an acoustic version of Darktown Strutters was done live. So I thought, this will be a tester.
Well, the album is called, the CD is called This Time. And my guest today, Ted Mulry. It's great to catch up again.
Thanks for having me on. Good to see you.
More after this. Stay with us.